Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. John here with what is a slightly different video for you on the channel today. As you can see, here we are currently looking at a 1989 Mazda MX-5, also known as the Roadster Eunos. It's a car that I recently went to look at that was for sale. It's for sale currently by some friends of mine who bought it from their parents and their parents-in-law, and they had had the car since 2011. And my friend contacted me out of the blue to say, John, would you like to buy the MX-5? So naturally, I went and had a look round and couldn't say no. Turned up, it was in their garage and it hadn't been out and about for about a year and a half, 2 years. And so it was really difficult to tell without getting it out of the garage. So what I did, I said to them, what I'll do is I will come back, I will bring my jump pack because obviously the car was flat as a pancake, and I'll bring my compressor, pump the tyres up, wheel it out, and have a good look at the car with a view of making an offer if it was right for me. As you know from watching videos, or as you may or may not know, I'm quite a big guy, 6'4", 20 odd stone, and well, actually, I got in the car and it was a bit too small for me. Also, things that I noticed when I started digging into the history of the car, the speedo, the tachometer is showing 40 odd thousand miles, but in 2011 it shows 174,000 miles. So there's quite a big mileage difference on the MOT history. It's a reasonable explanation. It hasn't been clocked. Nothing dodgy is going on. Effectively, the owner in 2011, who was using it, decided that they wanted the tachometer in miles per hour and not kilometers per hour, um, because it's an import model, and so changed the clock. I think there's a way of getting the original clock with a card, um, to miles per hour. But I don't think he knew that at the time, and so changed that. I've done this video then. The reason I've done this video is because the car isn't for me. I'm not buying the car. However, what I have said to my friends is that I will put the video on YouTube. I will advertise the car on their behalf for sale. And it's like anything, isn't it? When you put on Twitter, you put on Facebook some photographs, you can't really see the ins and outs of the car very well. So I decided to film this video of all underneath the car, the sills, the arches, the interior, so any prospective buyers could see. So let me tell you about the car then. It is a 1989 Mazda MX-5 Roadster Eunos. It is an import. It is the Japanese model and it was imported into the UK in 1999. It's had four previous owners. Two owners are the same family. So the family that are currently selling it bought it in 2011. And it's been a local car all its life, local to Lincolnshire. And like anything, like most Japanese cars of this era, and like most Mazda MX-5s, it has had some work done in the past. And I'm not an expert on these Mazda MX-5s, so I didn't really know too much what I was looking at aside from rot and rust. Now I can tell you that the sills have been repaired, the rear quarters have been repaired. They're not repaired with filler, they are repaired with proper metal, and the job has been done properly. Don't get me wrong, there's quite a lot of red paint overspray in places, on rubber, on trim, on door shuts, etc. It hasn't been done super duper professionally by a body shop. However, for a affordable, usable summer toy, I genuinely think this is a good example. As you can see, the car needs a bit of a scrub. It's been in the garage for a couple of years, but it's relatively straight. No major knock marks, dings, dents, or damage. And that is what I'm aiming to try and document in this video. What we're looking at on that front wing is a slight crease, a slight crumple where it's been bashed and the paint has cracked. There's also, as I'm pointing out here, just a tiny little bit of rot or surface rust where that sill crease is. Bottom of the doors, though, all good. And you can see the tilts and the anti-chip underneath is good as well. I wanted to document the sills. I wanted to show you guys underneath the car. And what I'm doing at the moment is just tapping the doors to see if it's filler or if it's metal. There are bits of filler in places, but not layers and layers and layers of pudding. There's also on the off side this slight webbing on the repair there. But if you can imagine, that repair is 14 years old. It's holding up quite well. Car has very rarely been out in the salt, and actually it's done just a couple of 100 miles in the past 3 or 4 years. It's currently off the road with no MOT. And actually, from a perspective of looking at it and from what I can see, obviously without getting it on the ramp, is that it's going to need a overhaul of the braking system, and that's about it. What does it need spending on it to get it through an MOT? Couple of £100, maybe. Tyres are all good. It's had new tyres a couple of years ago when the current owners took the car on, and what I'm doing at the moment is just knocking that sill, listening for any dead spots indicative of rot or rust. And I'm happy to report there is none. So I didn't, like I say, know much about these Mazda MX-5s. I put a couple of pictures on my Twitter account for people to see, and people have pointed out that it is an early import with things like that Momo wheel, and it's got the original Daisy wheels. I think they're called Daisies. They might be called Petals. I'm not 100% certain. But the alloy is in good condition. Again, the back box, which has been replaced at some point in its life, is going to need replacing again soon. It's not a hole, but it has gone a little bit rusty on the surface. Here's the back. You can see that lovely import plate. Oh, and there's the MX-5 inspector's cousin. Let's take a look inside the car. Now, I will be totally honest with you. There's many reasons I haven't bought this car. One is the space here at Coupland Towers. This is a car that needs to be undercover. It genuinely does. I haven't got space undercover to keep it dry and out of the wet and the damp. So that's one reason that I haven't bought this car. The second reason is, well, Mr. John Coupland is a little bit upset with the fact that there's nearly 20 other vehicles currently in our garden, and it would need recommissioning, and I am not a mechanical engineer. Dad is the person who would be able to put it back on the road, and he just hasn't got the time. He's working on the Rover 75. He's got his own life to have, and I had a sensible conversation with him, and we agreed that it would be unfair for me to then turn up with Dad with this for Dad to start repairing in the spring. That, and I'm quite a big guy. It wouldn't have been a car that I would have kept long term, but I can't drive it. I'm too big, and I got in the car, and it really was a massive camp for me. There are aftermarket things in the car, such as the sort of hoop and the reflector. They can easily be removed, but the car has got factory aircon, which does work. You'll see in a minute us testing that. The interior is lovely. With a little bit of TLC, it would come up really nicely. We've got original carpet, original floor mats. We've got all the original bits and pieces, binnacle, etc. Things that have been replaced, the gear knob. It's got this sort of aluminium gear knob, which isn't to my liking. However, the original was failing, and it's got a new gear gaiter and gear lever because the original was sort of that PVC plastic which has failed. I can't tell, to be honest with you, if the stereo system is original that's in the car. I don't think it is. I doubt in 1989 it would have left Japan with a CD player. But the CD player that's in it is, retro and of a time period. It's had aftermarket speakers fitted in the rear parcel shelf, which can easily be removed. And the speakers in the headrests, well, they don't work. They've failed. We'll look at that in a minute, though, because the seller has got a set of replacement ones of those from the MX5 parts shop. The air conditioning blows cold miraculously, and when you press the button, you can hear that condenser cutting in. It works. And the interior light works as well. Excellent, brilliant. Both electric windows work fine. Of course, it's a manual hood, but honestly, in the interior, for me, I couldn't find anything wrong. As you can hear, the car then, it's going to be revving up in just a moment. You'll be able to hear the engine, because it does, it starts and runs. Give it a rev, give it a rev. Brum, brum, brum. There it is. Let's take a look at the driver's side now. You can see there's a little bit of lifting here on this trim. Yeah, it's actually the trim that's gone rusty and expanded and swollen, not the door. The door speakers aren't working, but they have been replaced with Vibe speakers. And you can see that it's had paint. It's had paint throughout its life in different bits and pieces, and notoriously these A-pillars around the windscreen rot from the inside. They are a little bit blistery still, and I'll show you later on in the video. If I was buying this car, that would be the one thing that I would want to investigate pretty sharpish, because pretty soon that could be a whole world of pain, and literally a hole. But look at that. Look at those lovely original seats. And for a car that's done 170 odd thousand miles, they're in really good condition. Let's look at the pedals. Pedals looking good. Steering wheel, minimum wear on that steering wheel, a little bit of TLC, and that would come up beautifully. You've got this removable ashtray. What's in the ashtray? Oh, a euro. It comes with the car, I think, from what I'm led to believe. And other bits and pieces in there. Don't forget that's where your fuel cap is, and that bit comes out. I suppose you could put a mobile phone in there if you wanted to nowadays, but interior wise, genuinely fantastic starting point, and I loved the stylings. Well, and blanking plates as well, and three blanking plates there. Pop-up headlights on this model, I did check them, they do work. I also wanted to look in the fuel filler cap, nice Japanese sticker there, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't rotten, wasn't rusty. And like I say, there's no major blebs on the actual paintwork, no major dings or dents. Sadly, no hard top with this one, but the whole point of buying this is to have the roof off, right? I genuinely don't think you're going to start dailying this and using it in the winter. It's the sort of thing that is going to be a bit of a summer toy, in my opinion, anyway. I think if you start using it over winter, in 2 years, it's going to be gone. It's going to be a bit crusty. Engine bay looking good. Of course, it's got the 1.6 engine in there. Original radiator. I did check the coolant level was low. Something that I would check out. Where has that coolant gone? Because there wasn't any coolant actually in the reservoir. Um, is there an issue there? Potentially. Or has it just been low? I don't know. Brake fluid, obviously you change all that, but it's nice and full. There's no issues as far as I could see with any of the servos, master or slave servo. Again, I didn't drive the car because it's not on the road, um, but it's the sort of thing that you'd give it a total recommission, wouldn't you, if you were to buy it? But yeah, no coolant in there, and that's one thing I did want to clarify. And that's one thing that did concern me a little bit. As I say, where has that coolant gone? Maybe it's evaporated, maybe it's leaked out, or maybe there is something a bit more sinister that I haven't discovered. I doubt it, because these engines are pretty bulletproof, right? Let's look at this plenum drain, this drain area. There's a piece of trim missing as far as I'm aware, plastic trim in there, such as the off side, missing from this near side. I'll just throw these leaves out. Get rid of them. Get out of here, leaves. Apart from that, looking good. No rot that I could see in there, and no issues with the wipers. Wipers all working fine. Take a look at the other side. It's really a nice little sporty, stylish car, and I think genuinely with a good old scrub and a bit of red colour magic on it, it would come up an absolute treat. Early form of power steering on this being the import model, again with the aircon as well. It's primitive, the aircon, but it is all working. Rapid, these little 1.6s, from what I've been told, especially because it's quite a lightweight car. Again, engine pretty bulletproof, but 170 odd thousand miles. It is relatively high. What are these good for? I bet this would be good for 4,000 miles. 4,000 miles, 400,000 miles. Looked after properly. No mayonnaise in the oil filler cap, the dipstick as well. I did check the oil. There's no gunk on there. Suppose it's probably relatively unheard of for the head gaskets on these to fail. Um, that would explain the coolant loss, but I highly doubt it. Again, I had the car running for a good 20 minutes and it didn't overheat, didn't get hot. It ran nicely on tick over. There it is then. There is the back of the car. I think I'm going to show you in the boot in just a moment. Nice to see that it's got the original toolkit as well. You'll see that. There's the badges. Roadster Eunos. That is what it's called. It's not known as an MX-5 in Japan, as far as I'm aware. It is called the Roadster Eunos, being the import model. One key, it's a good thing though, because, well, it just is a key that you can get cut. It's not obviously got an immobilizer or anything like that. It's not got remote central locking. So you go to your local Timpsons, you take your one key and you get another two cut immediately, don't you, for 15 quid. This is the headrest speakers as well that the vendor has got with the car. Hood looking good. It's not an original hood, it's been replaced. I would suggest maybe upgrading that if you could to a hood with glass with a heated rear screen, um, and a zip off bit so it folds down properly. I really wanted to have a look behind this panel. It was difficult to get behind there. You can see that the boot has been used. You can see overspray on the carpet and on bits and pieces in the boot. Again, not been professionally sprayed where everything has come off, which does let the car down a little bit. But again, you're not going to notice that when you're driving it. Spare wheel, original spare wheel and cover. Got some extra floor mats in there. Battery is totally knackered. It needs a new battery, and it's these funny little batteries in. I would suggest probably upgrading that battery if you could. No rot in the boot floor, not really. A little bit of sound deadening, and you can see a little bit of tin worm in the boot, but nothing that, you're not going to start putting your foot through the floor next week. Uh, doesn't appear to be leaky. There's been a bit of water sat here, as you can see. It might have come in through these holes, which is what I'm pointing out, or it might have come in through the boot lid. You'd have to check out the seal, wouldn't you, there? Boot, nice and spacious. Again, original toolkit, jack, um, spare wheel. Very nice to have that original import spare wheel. What would you need to put in there? A new battery. What's a new battery? It's between 50 and 80 quid, isn't it? So far, I've seen that this car probably needs 250, 300 pounds spending on it if you're doing it yourself, 500 pound if you're employing a mechanic to give it a once over. Again, I haven't driven it down the road. It could need further things upon inspection, but yeah, lovely little car. Here's the toolkit. I love this. There it is under there. And that lovely little handle that's strapped onto there. And again, you can see overspray on that blooming seal. Why people haven't removed that with thinners or terps or whatever afterwards, I don't know. But again, you're not going to see that when you're driving the car, are you? That's it then. That is the car. I wanted to bring it to your attention because you might be interested in buying it. If you are, let me know. I'm on Twitter. You can DM me. I won't give the price out over here because that might change. If you're interested in having a look, the car is in Boston, in Lincolnshire. Get in contact with me. You can comment your email address. I can email you, or my email address is on my YouTube channel. Again, find me on Twitter. Uh, but until then, thanks for watching. If you're interested in the car, let me know. Till next time, have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I genuinely think this would be good. 500 quid spent on it. Nice summer toy. Is it a museum piece? No. Is it a fun little car? Yes, absolutely. Does it deserve to be in a collection of somebody and looked after? Yeah, absolutely. I think with 500 quid spent on it, a couple of days' work, you've got a nice summer toy. Let me know. What do you think? Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe by clicking the icon here. There's also some suggested videos that I've selected just for you that you might like too. Thanks for watching. You're all absolute legends.